Hey friends, and welcome to Falcone Reviews, where Falcone reviews, and today I'm going to be talking about the beta demo tournament mode of Mario Tennis Aces that launched last weekend. It was available from Friday to Sunday. It is no longer available anymore, but I want to talk a little bit about what it does right, what it does wrong, and what I think, what conclusions it is leading me to believe about the upcoming fully fledged title. Now, I'm going to come right out and say it. I loved the demo for Mario Tennis Aces. I was very apprehensive going in. I did enjoy Mario Power Tennis on the GameCube growing up, and I was a little bit concerned that that was sort of me being a child, and that going into this it would be run over here, hit the bat, run over there, hit the bat. But I was completely wrong, and this ended up being so much more than that. It had so much depth, and yes, it had the additional advantage of me being a multiplayer focused gamer. I do prefer that style of gameplay, so the fact that all this demo was playing against opponents online, ranking up and winning in a tournament format, that really appealed to me. It prodded me in just the right places to get full enjoyment out of this game. Oh, I was never going to get that.
Not with that attitude.
Oh, no! Oh, that was really good by him. So to start up, Friday evening when it came out, my friends Jakey Shergoldy on Twitter and Toby, Birdkeeper Toby on Twitter, we all got together, we all downloaded it on our Switches, and we thought, yeah, we'll play some tennis together. And instantly we were hit by alarm bells when we found out, we did the tutorials on each of our Switches, that's great. But then we realized, oh, there isn't actually a way to play against each other, not only on separate Switches, but also just using one Switch. There was no way in this demo to play tennis with our friends, which obviously was a bit of a bummer. That sucked. However, we made the best of it, and we decided to just play on one Switch, and we decided to take turns and try our luck online. I don't have a fancy capture card, but I did get some footage of our gameplay with my GoPro camera, which I will be showing shortly. But we had a good time. Some of us enjoyed it more than others. We weren't really able to get fully into it, to get completely invested. The tutorial itself was sort of information overload. There was a lot of text coming up on screen. It was not simple. It would not be easy for a child to fully understand everything immediately. And so we didn't understand everything. We were messing about trying to work out, wait, how does this trick shot work? How do we even spend our energy? How do we make our opponent's rackets break? Because we actually didn't understand. But the more we played, we started to get it a little bit better. In fact, this seems like a pretty good opportunity to see, hey, Toby, what did you think of Mario Tennis Aces, the demo?
So Mario Aces is yet another in a continual stream of Nintendo Switch games that are just top quality. It seems to me that Nintendo really want every single franchise that they possibly own to appear on the Switch in its just best form, and that includes the tennis games. It's actually a lot of fun, and some of us are getting way too into it.
No, Jake, no. No! What are you doing? You pressed the button way too late, Jake! Way too late!
Ooh.
Okay, sure. No! Your big fat body! Bowser's big fat.
I've been trying really hard, man. I'm on day 40.
Yes! No! Literally the slowest shot I've ever seen in my life! You've disgraced the Falcone name.
You did that already.
Okay, in my defense, I was having a lot of fun, and so were they. It was just a great experience to sort of be cheering each other on, and we were playing on my account, so, I wanted a good score. Anyways, we hung out for the Friday, hung out a little bit on the Saturday, and then they went home, but I carried on playing. I was sort of really hooked at this point, and I kept playing, and I kept getting better and getting better and getting better. And eventually, on the Sunday, I actually started winning tournaments. For those of you that don't know, the game was presented in a 32-man tournament bracket, which sort of assembled itself as it went along. So first game, you'd be matched against someone whose else it was their first game too. Then if you win that game, you get matched against someone that also won their first game. And then if you win that game, you get matched up against someone that won their first 2 games. And it just show you like the entire bracket as you go. So like, say I get to the semi-finals and I match against Fred, it will show me then all of the opponents that Fred beat up to that point and sort of how his part of the bracket looks too. It was quite clever and very well put together. Obviously, if you lose, you start from scratch. You enter a new tournament, which sort of poked at me even more in my drive to get better, because it's like, you know, I dropped out. I only made it to the quarterfinals. I want to make it to the semi-finals, and then I make it to the semi-finals. And like, oh, now I want to make it to the finals. I need to be better than that guy. And then, yeah, eventually on Sunday, I managed to win the entire tournament and then entered another one immediately after and won that too. I felt unstoppable. And I think that is a real credit to the game and how it actually has a very good learning curve. Maybe a little bit steep to start with. As I said, there is a lot of information thrown at you, maybe a little bit too quickly. But the more I played it, the more I really got to grips with it and the more I fell in love. Now, I figure I may as well describe a little bit of the depth to you for those of you that didn't get to play. Or like, what am I talking about? It's just a tennis game. You just go up to the ball and you hit it, right? Well, not quite. Firstly, you can aim where you hit the ball with the left stick. If you want to hit it on the left side of the court, you hold left, right side, hold right. Okay, that much is simple. Where it really gets complicated is the different types of shots you can hit the ball with. You've got the topspin shot, which is the A button. You've got a slice, which is the B button. You've got a flat, which is the Y button. You've got a drop shot, which is down on the left stick and the X button. And you've got a lob shot, which is up on the left stick and the X button. And they all do various different things. Topspin is just sort of general, all around, pretty fast, pretty controlled shot. The slice is just a very curvy shot. It will curve in the direction that you hit it. A flat is, well, flat. It hits straight. It's not very accurate, but it's very, very fast. A drop shot, you hit the ball and it will bounce and just sort of land as close to the net as possible. So if your opponent's like far back on the court, it will punish them. And a lob shot does the opposite, obviously. It lobs the ball as far to the other side as you can. If your opponent's too close to the net, it will punish them. And the way that these different shots interact with each other in itself is something. How if you're hitting the ball hard enough and your opponent hits it back, it can knock their opponent back and slow them down for the next swing. But if they counter with the correct type of shot, then it won't knock them back as far or won't have anywhere near as bad an effect. Just to explain that one briefly, the top spin, which is the A button, when you hit that, the ball's got a red glow, and you're supposed to counter that with the B button, which is a slice, where the ball has a blue glow, and then they counter each other. So if you hit it with the slice, your opponent is supposed to counter with the top shot, top spin. The flat shot counters itself. So if you hit it with a flat shot with the Y button, it's got a purple glow. You're supposed to hit it back with the Y button, and that's a pretty interesting interaction in itself. The way it will work is if the ball isn't going too quickly, there will be a star on your side of the court where the ball's going to land. If you hit the ball from inside the star, it will be faster, or it will curve more, or the drop shot will be more effective and further towards the net. Like, it has an extra advantage. And like if you hit with a flat, for example, it's very, very quick, then it's more likely to knock your opponent back. This is where powerful tennis players like Bowser and the Chain Chomp really shine. And it's just the way these interact with each other is very interesting. Then you throw the trick shot into the mix, which is where you tilt the right stick to do a trick shot. And what that will do is, say I'm on one side of the court and the ball is landing on the other side of the court, it will slow down time and allow me to bounce in that direction and hit the ball, providing I do it quickly enough. But the timing is really important. And I think this was the key ingredient that really allows Mario Tennis Aces to shine and be something a little bit more, something really depthy, because suddenly it almost doesn't matter what position you're in. You can come back with a well-timed trick shot. Not always, but almost always. Then there's breaking your opponent's racket using shots where you've gathered energy to use each player's power move, and each of the different players has their own move. So like Mario, he'll do a little wall bounce and then hit the ball. And basically, if your opponent doesn't time their hit correctly, it will break their racket. And it's very difficult to time a hit correctly against a power shot. And you only get 2 rackets per game. If you both of yours get broken, you just lose. That's a KO. And that's a cool feature too. Not one of my favorites, but it's a cool feature and definitely something to think about if the game is getting longer and longer. Toby mentioned earlier, the game is gorgeous. It's something I didn't really take into account when the Nintendo Switch came out, was just how good the style and the graphics are in the games, like the Mario games, the Zelda games, etc. It's something I'll talk about more in my Nintendo Switch video coming out tomorrow. But boy, it looks good. The colors are a real treat to the eyes. And you know, the 9 characters, I believe there were 9 available in the beta, were all a lot of fun to use, all very different. And I had a lot of fun experimenting with all of them. Funnily enough, my favorite, and I think the most OP one, ended up being Waluigi. And it was kind of odd to me that he was one of the 9 characters available, but I guess it's because he first debuted in a Mario Tennis game. So, you know, tennis is his thing. He's got the long arms and the long legs for it, I guess. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Did you get to play Mario Tennis Aces, the demo? What did you think of it? Will you be purchasing the final game? I certainly will. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are as well, and I will see you again tomorrow. Jake, share with me your innermost feelings right now.
Depression, discouragement, and disappointment.